Welcome. Hello, my darlings. Look at us. Wonderful. I think all the links are working today. We're all in the same universe, and I'm super excited. I've already got messages. Hi, 222. From many people who were so excited that we decided to do this for 2 days because, of course, you have a life, right? And so, those of you who are getting a chance to come today, we're going to have a lot of fun. Now, one thing, give me 1 second. Okay, I had to clear my voice. I've already been on another show today. And wonderful. So, welcome, Akasha here. Oh, now I'm hearing myself. That's odd. Okay, I don't know why that's happening. There we go. Okay. Never had that happen. Oh, I love it when we are between the worlds and the veils are melting, right? The veils are melting. Okay, wonderful. So we'll start again. Welcome, Akasha here, Nan Akasha from nanakasha.com. And make sure that you subscribe below. You get notifications because we do lots and lots of fun stuff here. And we are going to dive in today to day 2 of our incredible psychic fair. So I'm sort of having fun with that word because I kind of avoided that right before. And so today is day 2, and yesterday we had so much fun. And we worked with crystals and dragons and oracle cards, and we talked about a lot of different forms of divination. And so what we're going to do today is, let me see if I can, there we go, if I can get back up here. So what we're going to do today is I'm really excited because one of my Intuition Awakening students, Intuition Awakening Summer School students, so make sure that you join us. We're going to be starting August 3rd. You've got payment plans. It's on sale through the end of the month, and we have an incredible time. So one of my clients who was going to come on and share is camping or something like that. And so she has just sent me a message, and she said that she wanted to share. I've shared about her before, but she just wanted to encourage me to share that she really has had, she was never skeptical because she'd gone through an energy medicine school for a long time. She's very skilled already at energy medicine and at her visions. So she trusted herself, but she had that, like a lot of us do, that very locked in logical mind, right? That says like, oh, do I have the process? Do I know how to do it? Do I have my steps here? Do I have my certifications and all of that? And I understand that. And it's very, very powerful. I've been through a lot of mystery schools, a lot of wisdom schools. I've studied with a lot of shaman. I've learned everything from hypnosis to radionics and energy medicine. And I've worked with people around the world in all forms of energy, vibrational medicine, I would really call it. And I went to live with a lady for a while in France who was teaching me how to do radionics, which was very, very deep mental work where you have to be a completely clear channel in order to receive the correct information. You have to become a conduit. And it was like sitting across, I had a desk in front of hers in the healing room. There was instruments all around the room. We were healing people all around the world. And she would check all my work. So I would have my pendulum and I would sweat and and focus and sweat and focus and get the answers, and then I'd give it to her and she'd double check me. And it was like that game show, no wrong, or there was some other show I remember they used to say that, do it again. And I remember the first day that I handed it to her and she went, and she looked at me and she looked back again and she goes, yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. And she asked me to find a remedy for her one day. Oh, my goodness me. Yeah. That was like, sitting in front of the Dalai Lama and having them saying that you lead the meditation. And it was like, oh my gosh. And so it was such an incredible opportunity to have that feedback nonstop, to be in that environment, to be out of my world, to be in a place where I could focus 100% on this and live it. And I had to do a lot of things to handle the stress, but it was so worth it because now I unequivocally trust my pendulum. There's nothing I trust more in terms of my intuition now. I do. However, if I really want to know, okay, I got all this intuitive download, this is what I want to do. We're going to do the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp this summer. What is the topic? What are the dates? And then I go to my pendulum and I give all the options so that I can receive the answers in a very clear way, because I have almost a medical level of clarity around that. And that is one of the many practices that I pass on to you. I'm very nice though. However, I want you to have an opportunity to be in a space where I create that sacred space and you get a chance to get feedback immediately. This isn't you going, oh, I got this vision. Now I'm going to go out, take action. I think it means this. And then you face your fears on your own and you take action on your own and you try to figure out what it means on your own. This is a place where you have that community. This is a place where you have that opportunity to understand, to know what is it that I am doing and why, and is this the right path, and is this the right interpretation? And if you take a few steps towards it and it doesn't look like it's turning out the right way, do you stop or do you keep going? Or do you go make a new decision? Or do you go back and doubt yourself? So this is the time to make that quantum leap in your confidence that you have for yourself. And I want to share, because when she came, she took my soul star awakening course first, and she still raves about it. This was many years ago. Your soul star is your chakra above your head, and it is the chakra that has I think we have it here. I'll show it to you in a minute. It is, I jokingly say it's like I Dream of Jeannie. It's the groovy little place where your higher self lives. All right. So it's an interpersonal chakra. It is not one of your personal chakras that intersects with your body. It's up here, and it's giving you an experience of opening antennas, that lotus, right? That now has all of these channels that can connect to different realms, different times, different guides, angels, and so on. So the best thing is to realize that you are programmed, you are built with a spiritual body, and it intersects with the physical body. And then you have a soul blueprint. So you already have done this. You have soul lineages, and we're going to explore those, your archetypes, your lineages, your powers, your wisdom. We're going to go find those. We're going to have your chance for you to see those in other people and see them in yourself and receive confirmation. We're going to work with dragon energy, dragon divination. It's actually a form of divination. I kid you not. I have a book here that includes it with feng shui and earth grids and dowsing and all kinds of stuff. So the dragons really started coming through yesterday. I thought they were going to come through today a lot. Maybe they will again. And you get a chance to do processes that will activate you on so many multidimensional levels, and repeat them and keep all the replays for life, so that you have both the practical experience and feedback, and you have me there, and I create the sacred space. And then you're learning these tools, you're having these experiences, you're going into higher states of consciousness, you're freeing yourself from negative beliefs about yourself, judgments about your past. These are blocks to you being an excellent receiver, a clear and open receiver. So I hope you'll join me. And also remember to reach out to me because of the incredible retreat that we're doing. Oh my gosh. I start to vibrate every time I think about the Avalon retreat. And I was putting together the final pieces of the detailed, like moment by moment retreat that I'm sending out to people. So if you are interested in that, please go to nanakasha.com/Avalon. The links are below as well. And go there, get on the list that's there. I'm going to send you a meditation for manifesting this or anything else. As also an opportunity, if you want to speak with me about logistics, about manifesting this, about your fear of travel, or your fear of leaving home, or your fear of your health, or your fear of money, whatever it is, okay? Because there is a solution. All right, it's 10:10. Yesterday we talked a lot about those incredible angel numbers, didn't we? And make sure you go to the shop to see all the other things going on right now. I have a few private session, a package, as well as the new soul lineage sessions, which wow, they're just blowing my mind. So we looked at all of these things yesterday, and I'm just going to see if I have the no, it doesn't seem like I do. So we'll go in. So what we talked about yesterday was all these different kinds, and this is just a really small list because geomancy is divination by earth. So mancy means divination. And there's hydro, water mancy, there's pyromancy, there's a whole thing. I think it's called ornithora, ornamancy, which is birds, right? Interpreting the Romans in the ancient times would release birds, pigeons and different bird doves and things, and then they would watch their patterns that they flew in, and they would interpret the signs. In Greece, the famous temples of the Asclepions, the god of healing, his wife and all of his daughters are all the names of healing, Hygeia and so on. And you would go there and you would read all of the healings that people had to program your mind, and you would wash and cleanse your body, and you would pay your healer, and then you would go sleep in the temple. And the temple was covered with snakes on the floor, not poisonous, because they considered them extremely wise healers and transformational masters. And then the healers would watch people while they slept, and then the gods would come to you in your sleep, and then the next day you would tell your dream, and they would help you interpret the dream, and from there they would determine what was your healing curriculum path, and then they would begin to implement it. So there's these ways of seeing, like, looking at tea leaves or something. I don't drink tea. I don't have any of my juice left in here. Looking at the patterns in nature, looking at the patterns of 3 times somebody said something to you, right? So all of these things, astrology, dreams, nature is a big guide for all of us. Stars, spirit guides, numerology, angel numbers, crystals, really powerful because crystals are ancient. They've been here a long time. They've been through pressure. They've been through heat. They've been through what we would call stress in order to become these incredibly clear, beautiful beings. They embody light. They're light in form. They have wisdom from the ages. They know what's happened. They're also programmable. They also have a particular energy that they do. So we're going to do a little scrying today. And we're going to talk a little bit about scrying and omens. And I don't have my runes here. I've recently been painting a deck of runes. And but what's interesting about a lot of these things is interpretation. So again, the summer school is not just opening your channels, activating your third eye. We have a whole new third eye upgrade we're going to do for you, opening your channels to listen to your divine dragon guardians, to the cells in your body. What is your body telling you? And, having Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Body, is great. It's a great beginner guideline. It's super basic though, right? If I hurt my elbow, and you go look and you see what it is, but what does it really mean to you? And what are the other aspects of it? And does it have a past to you? So intuition, psychic abilities, they're natural for you, for me, for all of us. And of course, we'll play with some cards. So let's see. I wanted to see if we had the chakra chart here. I don't see it. So we'll skip that then today. Okay. All righty. So let's take a look at who all is here. Oops, that's what I want, is to see you guys. Hi, Josie's here. Oh my gosh. Hi, sweetie. Josie's amazing, amazing, amazing. She's in my mastermind. Oh, Sonia's back. Hi, Sonia Barbara. Perth, Australia. Whoop, just gone midnight. Well, thank you so much for being here. How sweet of you. Hi, Lisa Cat. Day 2. Yesterday was wonderful. Happy to be here again. Thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for always being here, always being so generous and kind and so expressive in what you're talking about. And MK said, joined last night. Sadly, it was after midnight, so I missed the bonuses. Oh, well, there's a replay. Okay. And that is bonuses. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Be more clear. So Josie says, I was watching the replay after work and I was amazed at what I remembered from the last time I took this class. Oh, fantastic. Yes, please share more in the chat about when you took the class and how it changed your life, also in practical ways, as well as maybe in your confidence and everything. I am in and ready for the next level of awareness and integration. Woo, woo. Hi, Tiffany. Hello, Maureen. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Maureen. So wonderful. So I want to share. Genevieve is someone who took a class and many of my classes and has come to several of my retreats, and she's out celebrating on an adventure in the woods. But she sent me this and she said, I wanted you to share this. She goes, so much love. I found great strength, wisdom, and courage from taking your class. I've learned so much and have so much more confidence in my intuitive skills and abilities. I'm literally having people randomly come up to me, start talking to me about magical healing things. It's been really fantastic. And it also attracts me to meeting different people with magical gifts like mine. And the affirmation that it brings to me has been one of the most powerful things. So Genevieve is one of those beautiful women who's just pure magic. I mean, she's just pure magic, but like all of us, she has her own fears. She has her own self-doubt. And she's taken other processes, other classes of, very structured, like do this, and then you'll have an answer for your client. And it does feel safe. So when she first started to do fairs and offer her services, she felt more safe saying, I'm a this, right, with a technical name. And instead of saying I'm an intuitive or I'm an intuitive reader or I am whatever you are. So what I like to do is help you come up with your own name for what it is you are and what it is you do, especially if you have your own business. And then like Amy, who is also a campinger, she said that she's had so many experiences. She started with the Soul Awakening, then she took the Intuition Summer Camp, and she's taken almost every other class I've done most of the time. And she came to Greece with me last year on our retreat there. And she's a very experienced energy healer. And what she found at the beginning was that self-doubt, even though she had all that experience, even though she'd been having clients that her business had been going for a lot of years. And she was the one who would see white. She would be like, I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting anything. And this is the power of being together, right? In a class where we're doing this is like, I can be there to watch and to see what's happening and then to give you advice, right? To give you okay, well, what is it you're seeing? So if you're seeing nothing and you start going over here and going, oh, and you're thinking, you're listening to the poor girl in your head, it's not going to make you more clear. This is where becoming that clear channel is the most powerful thing you can do. Then the more you go, okay, I'm just going to accept where I am. I'm seeing nothing. I'm seeing nothing. Well, what is nothing? Is nothing white? Is it blank? Is it 0 point? Are you in the infinite field? Are you out in endless space? Are you in a cave? Then you feel deeper, okay, into that intuitive experience, and you start to activate more of your 360 senses in order to get more input to kind of find those points to give you your location, like a GPS would, like you're here and you're here and you're here and you're here. And so I would start to ask her questions. Are you seeing white or are you seeing nothing? No, it's white. All right. Well, is it a white canvas? Is it a white wall? Is it a white? Oh, yeah. So one time she did this amazing reading for one of the other students that they still talk about, of where it started with a white canvas. And she said, oh, it is a white canvas. Oh, and then she just sat. And this is the space where we don't rush you. We let you come to it. I want you to not push yourself. I want you to get out of yourself. And then you start to go into the space and receive. And Kim has come, and she didn't have a clue about any of this when she joined. And she said, I don't know how to do this. And it was her turn to do a practice session. And she said, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done it before. I said, perfect. And she opened up and started to, poetry was coming out of her, just like streaming vision. We were all on this journey, and you're here and you're there, and the birds are singing, and this is here. And it was just pouring through her in such fluidity because she surrendered, knowing She didn't try to figure out what's the steps. Am I doing it right? She just opened up, and she's known as Magic Kim now in our classes. And Josie, yes, Josie Quinn, she's also just, her whole life has changed because of this. So whether you do this as a job or not is irrelevant, okay? This is what high level people do, is increase their intuition. So, okay. Oh, okay. MK, I'm sorry. You tried to get the Merlin masterclass. Here is the email. I'm going to stick it in the chat for you to contact us directly. I know somebody yesterday said they couldn't get through on one email. We checked it. It was okay. So I'm not sure what happened, but this goes directly to Donna, and I can check it as well. And we'll double check that masterclass again on that page. So if you do go to nanakasha.com and you opt in, you will get a beautiful, turn that off. You will get a beautiful masterclass, and it has all 3 masterclasses, all 3 processes, and also the Merlin meditation, which is a really beautiful alchemy to transmutational experience, right? That's why we want this. Thank you for sharing. I'm so super glad. Don't ever hesitate to ask me anything, okay? Because if you don't ask me, I don't know there's an issue. Okay, so we're going to start. I'm really excited because today, Sky is going to be here. So many of you know Sky. She was in the intuition class a couple of years ago, and then we did a certification for that as well. And she did that, and she lives in Glastonbury, and she's been doing sessions, and she goes to fairs all the time. And this is her full-time work. So she's graciously agreed to come. She's going to call in from England in a little bit here, and she's going to share a little bit about her experience. But I also think she's going to do some readings for you guys. So I think this would be really fun to do that. And okay, so remember, you have to say hi in the chat or I don't see you. And I want to say hi to people over on Facebook. I can't see you either. I can see people who are on YouTube. Okay, so one thing that I feel really drawn to do right now is to pull a card for our group, and from the Ogum, which is the Celtic Tree Oracle. This is the particular one I have. It's called Wisdom of the Woods. It's a Celtic Tree Oracle, and the Ogum was a language really for the Celts. They felt very connected to the trees. So everybody, let's take a nice deep breath in. Come fully into this sacred space. I am that I am, Ea Escher, Ea. And I am here now, fully present with a clear and open heart and mind. As you relax and release all the thoughts and all the worries and hurries, acknowledge the sacred space. We're in this temple together. There's a lot of purple in the temple today. This gold and silver temple above and below us, a perfect reflection. We are between the worlds. And we're wrapped in the all-seeing eye. That means that you are now coming deeper and deeper into this place between the worlds, into this 0 point, lighter and lighter, freeing yourself from attachments, from the busyness of your life. And now acknowledge the flower of life, this Akashic Ascension sphere all around you. And take a deep breath in. Say, I activate my light body at optimal speed for me at this time. 3, 2, 1, blow it out. That is your intention. It's a thought intention with a breath, and you put it in the breath and you push it out. It goes into the cells and it goes into the aura, goes out through the emotional field and continues to pulse and out and out and out. Good. All right, so let's all acknowledge our sacred circle here. Let's acknowledge that we are here, we are together, that we are opening our hearts to this divine space. And I call on our divine guides. Thank you, Gaia and Merlin and Thoth. Thank you to Isis and Horus and Kuan Yin and Saint Germain. Thank you to the dolphins and jaguar. Thank you to the bees. Thank you to the dragonflies. And thank you to these divine, beautiful trees that are all across the planet, from the roots and the wisdom through the trunk and the branches to the leaves, and to the sacred world tree, the antennas of light that connect these trees through the ethers and through the earth and the roots. We call in the crystal kingdom and the dragons, and we ask to be clear and open channels for our highest good and the greatest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you may begin to see or feel this changing. And hi, Lucille. Oh, hi, Autumn. Oh, you almost missed it again. You did. You're here. You're good. All right. So everybody focus into this circle. Let's be a beautiful circle of light and contact the trees. We're calling on the trees. We're calling on the wisdom of the woods. We're calling on the Celtic tree oracle, the Ogum. We ask now for the blessing, for the wisdom. We call upon the natural sprites, the ancient spirits. We ask to offer our love and a gift. Now pull a gift from you, from within you, and offer it to the trees from my inner grove and my inner desires, my inner purpose that is ready to come forward. I ask for you to talk to me, to talk through me, to bring your wisdom up through my roots, to cast your white light so that I may connect to past, present, and future and my own inner wisdom. I call on the sacred trees and the ancient Celts, the seers, the oracles, the priestesses of old. I ask for this pathway, these doorways to knowledge, to lead me from the dark, to light my path in every moment, and to bring wisdom now to us and to this group. Bring this wisdom. Bring the sacred flame within us that we may know we are filled with the spark of the divine and that our own truth is truly here. And so it is. We call on north and south, east and west, above, below, and within. We call on water and earth, fire and air, metal and mist. We call on the ancients. We call on our wisdom, and we call on all of our souls. Wise, medicine, messages. Now, just feel yourself in to the Ogum, the Celtic tree oracle, and I will assist us with what we are choosing. The oak is here. The oak is here. Thank you, sacred oak. Thank you, sacred oak. Thank you, thank you. Now, we ask for the message of the sacred oak to come in. The name is Duir. The symbol is a line with two pillars coming up, like an 11. The oak brings protection and health, healing and fertility, luck, new paths, maturity, endurance, strength, and money. So I just feel these messages coming to you and know that the oak is going to walk with you. It's going to bring you this endurance and this strength. It's going to open doors that seem like luck, but they're really you. It's going to open your protection so that you feel, you know that the new paths are opening to your healing and your money. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Thank you, everybody. Okay, fantastic. So witness 222, do you have a name other than 222, which I kind of like? um, okay, so we're going to do some scrying, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about scrying. So if you're not familiar with scrying, scrying is a visionary skill. It's looking in, it's looking, and you can use a mirror. The ancients used obsidian. So this is our obsidian mirror. Okay. And I have a lot of obsidian everywhere around me. It's protective and it is healing, and it helps you see through the dark. However, scrying is something that the ancient Maya, Aztecs, a lot of other cultures did. A lot of people scry. You'll see the oracle in Delphi often looking into a bowl of water. Dumbledore in Harry Potter would scry into a fountain, like a bowl, almost like a bird bath. And he would then, visions would come, and then you would go into it and you would start to have traveling. You can, in my opinion, you can scry into a stone and start to read the symbols on the stone, start to see the patterns as they come forward. And what the ancients, especially the Mayans and the Aztecs, thought, I'm trying to get this really nicely, is that this is representing a sacred cave. Okay. And the sacred cave is a place that you go within, right? A cave is a place of birth. It might be a womb, and it holds secrets. Maybe there's a cave you've hidden your treasures in, and the dragon is in there protecting them. Okay. These are ways to reveal your destiny. They're very destiny oriented. And what does destiny mean? It means understanding what's the next step on your path, realizing you aren't your past. So I'm going to hold this up. We'll see if it works for you. And I'm going to scry onto the backside. We did this with one of my shaman healers at one of our retreats. We were in the jungle. They had the kopal and the ceremony and the dancers and everything. And then she went around and one by one was holding this up to us. Now, I'm seeing that there's a problem because you're seeing my screen. So I'm going to move it around. Okay, it looks like right there it's going to work. So obsidian is just one of the things. In the ancient Mayan pyramids, there were these doors all along the bottom of the pyramid with these very shallow rooms, and they would have a huge obsidian mirror. And it was actually a way of tracking the sun, tracking the stars, tracking the moon, visioning. So, of course, tracking that stuff is true as well. And this is a conduit for supernatural forces. Very similar to mirrors. So some cultures feel afraid of mirrors and cover mirrors, and you do want to be aware of what you're doing with mirrors or what you're having. And we all know that people can be reflections, experiences, losses, failures, and even successes can be reflections to us of our truth, right? So just want to... Hello, darling. Okay, I want to make sure I don't miss Sky when she comes in. So, okay, so let's do a little scrying, all right? And sacred cave meditation practices with spiritual leaders, and it makes more sense now. Yes, sacred cave is, like you have the Star Wars, I think, where Yoda says, he's the wise master, and he says you've got to go in that cave with your skills and you've got to practice. And Joseph Campbell says, when you enter the cave where your fear exists, this is the place that you're going to find yourself, right? And you maybe do battle with yourself, or you do battle with the demons or the fears, or those things are a representation, a metaphor for your own inner fears, for the inner things that you've put to block yourself from using your powers, right? Because that's what we've all learned and that's what we've all done. So, yeah, I'm going to take a sip here, and I want everybody to close your eyes, and I want you to focus, and I want you to focus in. You're here in a sacred space. We have the beautiful oak trees here to bring money and healing and strength and all of that. So you have that big, strong oak behind you. We have the Celts here. And I want you to start to think about entering the sacred cave of your truth, of your soul. And as you enter that sacred cave of your soul or your truth, you're going to see a reflection. There's going to be an enormous obsidian mirror or wall there. All right. And I'm going to tell you to open your eyes in a moment, and you're going to look into this. So it's very important to use all of your senses, but not to trust them. You don't trust your mind or your feelings until you clear your body. You don't trust what you see with your eyes, because then most of the things that exist you won't believe are there. You'll be like living in flatland. Okay. So your job right now is to maintain a singular mental focus on open, receptive, ready, and willing for the optimal message, for the supernatural forces to speak to me, of the ancients through the obsidian, to see through the worlds. And you can then now focus on any particular thing. Now, you can think about a wound or a problem, but you only think about it as long as I'm ready for this to open into a doorway. Okay? So, declare that you are a master, that you are a master in disguise, that you've come here to master yourself, to remember your mastery. And you're ready now to scry into this divine window. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. This is more challenging than I thought. Look at how good of a mirror it is. All right, here. So you're going to have to ignore my computer screen. Okay. And just gaze deeper and deeper. Oh, I wonder. There. So what you do is you might be seeing winged victory or some of the things here. So give yourself permission to see deeper, to see past these reflections. So look at the part that doesn't have computers and things. Now close your eyes. So I'm receiving a message for Josie, and I don't want to interrupt your own receptivity. I'm seeing an infinity symbol across your forehead, and then I'm seeing it go duplicate and go and go and go and go and go and go and go, as if like a long tunnel. And this is infinite potential. It's dark except for this symbol, this intuition, this infinity symbol that is opening. And now I'm seeing you walk along a path, and you're very tiny, so it's like these symbols are above you, and you look really, really small, but you're there like an explorer, just ready, wondering what is here, looking down into this infinite space. And there's just nothing in the way. There's no blocks. There's nothing keeping you where you are. It's just one infinite possibility after another. Interesting. Now I feel like one more person. I see Sky is here. Hi, Sky. So Lucille, I'm seeing that this cave, this spirit is for you a strong reflection, that you keep seeing your reflection and running into your reflection, and it keeps coming back to you, and then you express and you open, but it's almost like a circular motion where you go and you fly free, and then you come back and you are looking at yourself again, and you're trying so hard to see yourself that there's a part of you that's not seeing yourself, that you keep seeing something and you want to see past it, and you've already gone past it, so you're trying to see something that's already completed. Interesting. I'm going to pull a card for you, Lucy, and then we're going to bring Sky on. So that was a little bit challenging because of the reflection, but I would love, hi Susan, Ina, hello. So if anybody has something to share about what you saw, Candy, oh good, hi Candy, good, now we know 222 is Candy, I like that. And okay, I'm going to share. I promised Lucille, and I'm glad that you popped up for me. So give me a minute here, because we're going to look for, we'll just let Morgan be here. And that isn't who I called. However, why not have her come here? We have a much better one than that. All right, this one. So this is the one that's interesting, like we're doing scrying, we're opening our mind. This is the goddess of infinite vision. And so you expand. You are an incredible, expansive being, right? Creativity and energy, and you go on these, you see, and the color and the beauty that you have, and you have this ability. And that astral travel or divine vision, this multidimensional mind expansion, is more powerful than you know, and you have ability to shift realities at a deeper level than you're allowing yourself. So I think that's why I was seeing, when I was scrying in there, that you were going out but coming back, and then looking at yourself again and saying, did I change, or is it here? And you're going out. So your ability to astral travel, your ability to expand into that infinite vision, and really have a multidimensional mind, is something that you're learning how to integrate into the body, into the physicality of the world, right? So psychometry is another really fun, interesting idea. And that is that wisdom of knowing, reaching out and bringing information back, and then being able to bring it in. So where you are right now is more than shifting realities. You are needing that balance of the creative and the logical. And it isn't that you like need a lot of logical, but there's a container, there's a structure that what you bring in from all this creative, expansive vision, and you bring it in. Now there's a part of you that is, you can put it down in your artwork, but there's another aspect of you understanding, or maybe verbalizing it, or in some way giving it structure. So as one of the soul talents that people like Einstein and people like had, was both the ability to expand out into abstract realities and see something that nobody had seen before, understand something from a different perspective, shift perspectives and look around, say, well, maybe it isn't a ball, maybe it's this, maybe it's something different. And then whatever they received in that abstract field of creativity, they could bring it back down. And then the logical side of them could start to put some structure to it, right? So you do it with your art, and yet there's another level of that that's available for you. And I really see. So okay, good. Well, tell me, everybody, how you're feeling. I kept seeing my eye reflection at first, and that's what happens even if you were right here, you see yourself. Okay, when I closed my eyes, I saw a pink pillar. Ooh, that's nice. Pink pillar. So yesterday we had a lot of pillars. We had 11:11 happening. We were seeing pillars of light, and we were seeing them as portals and doors and all kinds of different things like that. So what does the pink pillar mean to you? You are a pillar. And pink can mean a lot of different things. It can mean rose quartz, carries that frequency of love, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. It's obviously a very feminine energy. So what's coming to me right now is for you to look at being a sacred, a divine feminine strength. Pillar hole connects above and below, whether it's the roof and the floor, or the ethers and the infinite field and the earth, or your head, your neck's a pillar, right? And your heart. And so there's something about being that soft, divine feminine. Pink can be soft and feminine. It can be super shocking, it can be like all these different vibrations can happen from that. And the pillar is definitely, we have a pillar of light around us. It's part of our structure. So bringing pink into that, bring it down and bring it up, and start to infuse yourself with it, surround yourself with it, and see what starts to happen. Of course, it has to do with love, but I don't feel like that's the only message for you. It's something about embodying divine femininity while still being strong by being a structure. I'll have to work on scrying. I've never had to look at anything to see visions. This is so interesting for me. Yeah, Lisa, it is, because we tend to close our eyes and then we go within, and it's easier. However, when we do it with rocks, do I have a regular rock here? Here we go. And I think I talked about this recently. When you pick up a rock, this happens to be a crystal, a quartz crystal rock from the street, from the road in Arkansas. We went out where they were just laying around. However, if you pick up a rock off the street, you see all these patterns and colors. And if I turn it this way, Like right there, I'm seeing a face, two eyes. There's the mouth, there's the nose. It's almost like a jaguar. And then if you turn it this way, it looks different. And you turn this way and you look at the bottom of it and you do here. And you can find the one and then you can start just saying what you see, or maybe you get drawn into it and you go on an adventure. I had one lady, we did this at retreats sometimes, and I had a lady go in and there was a little cave in it, and she's like, there's a cave and I'm going into the cave, and then she was drawn into an experience. So that's another kind of scrying. With this, if you had this in person, right, you would be seeing your reflection. Like I look here and I had to move myself past seeing me to seeing Lucille. So let's see what Lucille said. Wow, I resonated with that so much. I do have trouble with the structure part. Yeah. So that's like, take your expansiveness and your creativity. And a lot of us have that. Like we just love to be flying around in the ethers with the fairies all the time. Autumn said, I thought I was seeing a desert scene with mountains in the background and some people standing around a fire. Very nice. Very, very nice. Interesting. Yeah. So with that, Autumn, okay, I'm going to pull you a card real quick, and then I want to honor that skies here. So that I'm sure has deep meaning to you. Okay. I had a session with Maureen the other day, and she lives in the desert. So I started seeing the desert around her. Not a big shock. All kinds of information came through around that. And then all of a sudden, her entire body, her field divided in half, and this half was still in the desert and this half was somewhere that was kind of lush and green. And there was all this information coming through about not one or the other, but balancing the two. And we talked a lot about how the desert looks like it's barren, but it's not. It's full of life, and the life comes out usually at night, and there's a lot of life that you don't even know. Suddenly a rain happens and a big flower pops up, right? And people around a fire. So of course that could be something for you in like your family, but it feels to me that this is a sacred circle of that's calling you in. And because this is opening that sacred cave, and that sacred cave is taking you, the scrying with the obsidian is taking you to another reality, to a supernatural reality. That means that you're meant to go to that fire. So you may want to meditate with that or dream with that later, because you standing around a fire in a sacred circle is pretty profound, right? Okay, now I am going to just see which one here. I'm going to give you a card, one of my oracle cards, Autumn, to go with that. Take it a little bit deeper. And we're having lots of mind expansion today. Okay, free your mind, free your mind. I don't know where the free your mind lady is, so we'll just, there she is. Okay, so this is for you, Autumn. And the message on this, of course, like all oracle cards, changes depending on who you are, what you're doing, when you choose it. So again, this is about that inner vision, which you've just done, right? You've looked. This is about being very still to see within and to witness yourself. So watch that scene and maybe don't approach it until you feel welcome, or until suddenly you're standing there. I had that experience recently where I was standing in my third eye. There was this stone circle, like a Stonehenge kind of thing. And then, but nothing was happening. So I walked around it, but I wasn't able to go into it. And I kept wondering. And then there's a glowing portal at one end. And suddenly this incredible goddess kind of woman came through, who turned out later to be me, an aspect of me, and just stood there. And I kept thinking, why can't I go inside? And I would touch the stone and I would try to feel the stone. And I was a little boy. And I remember thinking, well, am I not allowed in the circle because I'm a boy and it's only women, allowed in it? And so it was like all these very interesting things, but I just kept witnessing. And it took a while for all these things to unfold. And then something shifted and suddenly, boom, I was inside the circle and I was her. Okay, so that focus of watching, or the Native American or even the Mayan way of watching until you're invited or you're seen. You don't go knock on someone's door. You just drive onto their property and you wait until they come out, and then they welcome you. Okay, so feels very interesting. I feel like I want to go. Let's go down and check that out. So, okay. Let's see. Anyone else sharing? Candy said, I saw something taking burdens and deep pain out of my arms. Wow. Well, that's awesome because I remember when I was married, I literally felt like I was carrying him. I felt like I was carrying the mood and carrying the happiness and carrying, everything, just carrying. And that's a very excellent healing. Wonderful. Helping me get past all the reflections, figurative reflections. Yes. I love that. I've never been to a desert in real life. Oh, really? Okay. Well, Candy, we'll come back to you. I want to bring on my beautiful friend. Hi, Sky. Are you? Can we hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay! Hello, sweetie. Oh my gosh, big hug.
Hi.
Oh, I'm so excited. I get to see you and hug you. It's gonna
Yeah.
be
How
amazing.
exciting. Be really
So
good.
yeah. So you live in Glastonbury.
Yeah. Yep. I'm in Avalon right now.
So she's bringing us all that magic that we keep talking about, all that beautiful energy. And so Sky was in the Intuition Awakening summer camp a couple of years ago. Then did the certification class, and immediately, if I remember right, you started to do this work, and you're still doing it now.
Yeah. Yes. It's been really good. I've always been had that intuition and done healing work, but I wanted to um, kind of focus on that more and strengthen that. And so I don't really do the hands-on work anymore. It's just the intuition, using that and some other things I combine, and it is just so amazing. And actually, a really amazing thing happened the other day here. I'm a keeper at the White Spring, and I was there, and this woman that I had seen, I don't know, a day or two before, came up to me and said, "Are you a healer?" And I was like, "Oh, well, yes, actually, I am." And then she said, "I want to do a session with you." And we had only had a high, just the day before. And so then we had this super amazing session. And so, yeah, just lots of, that's one of, yeah, many since since I've been um, on the courses with you that have just so many amazing, amazing things.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it, when you let go and then you take your natural gifts and you start to hone them and then you start to allow yourself to be seen,
Yeah.
right? And then people just see you and they resonate with you, and clearly, you've been doing so much beautiful work that you are just vibrating and radiating this field that people are seeing and knowing that you're the one, because where you live there's a lot of healers.
Yeah. Yes. There is.
Right, so it's kind
Yeah.
of, it's even more amazing, right, that
Mm.
out of everything available there, right, that you stood up. So, well, share a little bit more about the classes and what the experience was for you, maybe in trusting yourself or other things that really opened up for you.
Yeah, so yeah, it has been a few years, like you said, it's been a few years. And in that time, I, like I said, I had been doing it a lot before, but it was more kind of helped me to have a deeper trust in in it, in the process, in myself, in what I'm what is coming is actually a thing. It's not just I don't know, some, something. Um, and so, yeah, and then it really has deepened so many things, come through in so many different ways. And then it's like I get to now when I do readings for people, I go to all these, because for me it's very visual, um, what comes. And so it's like I go to all these places that I've never been in, well, here and now, and in different times, and in different, not even on this planet on Earth, but other places. So it's really amazing, to have just be like, yep, I can do this. Here I am. I'm doing it. This is, what I do. And people really loving it by also having their confirmations, and I remember like a few years ago, I remember this reading I did for a lady, and this really was coming through that she was a bullfighter in a previous life in Spain. And it just all like so many things kind of unfolded around that, and then afterward I asked, so how is that for you? Does that resonate at all? And she just like could not believe it, because she has been so drawn to Spain and bullfighting and all of these things, and it everything just came into place and clicked for her in this way that she didn't really know why or how she was drawn to it. But then it's like, oh well, there it all was. So it's like having these confirmations is so, well, reassuring for me, that it's like, yes, okay, this is good. This is, really resonating with people.
Yeah, and like you say, it's so empowering. I mean, getting to do this work makes your life magical. I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
imagine doing anything else, because like you said, like you just start trusting, and every person you work with, you start seeing things you've never seen before, or ways that their lives or things about them are talking to them, right? The different pathways. And then that confirmation of, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this makes sense now," or, "Oh, all these pieces come together," or, "Now I know why." And there's a kind of an interesting way that the intuitive things that don't look like they relate to, like, why do I have this disease, or why
Mm.
can't I make money, right? These practical mundane things. And then you receive this more abstract information, and it starts to sort of be the fabric between putting that together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so amazing. And then I really like to go into the agreements. And it's like we pull out these agreements of why those things, I can't make money, or why does this keep happening, or like the fractal pattern of things. And it's just so amazing. And then it's like people can understand, oh, right, that's what it is. And now I can unravel that.
Yeah. Well, share some more stories from some of your clients, like your favorite ones that both gave you. Because one of the things that I've been sharing is how powerful the class is, because you get this. You may not have a client, right, in that class, but it's that same sort of confirmation, right? Just trusting what's coming,
Yeah.
starting to see what it is, and then getting that feedback really changes.
Yeah. And so I guess I can speak to that a bit, of that when a person is starting out and all of a sudden it feels like, I've had some situations where it's just, blank, but it's not blank, or it's just black, or there's nothing there. And I don't get frustrated or flustered, or I just say, okay. And I just start describing it. And I just start describing it. And then it will shift and it will open. And usually that blank or that black or that thing that isn't clear, by describing it and by just being with it, it it becomes clear, and it just then it will unfold. But it's there for a reason, and it's just part of what is in them, what I'm seeing in them. And that's, so I know, and other people I've heard on the courses have said, there's that doubt or that mistrust, or the, I don't know, nothing's coming, it's just blank, or but it's not. That is something. That blankness is even something. And so I would just say, yeah, just stay with it. Let it, don't let your, the ego and this sense of, I need to be doing something, or I'm not doing something, but just in that allowing, it unfolds.
Yeah, and it's fascinating too. The doubt wants to jump in,
Yeah.
worries about, they asked a question, or they're waiting for an answer, or everyone's looking at me, right? and those kinds of things. And that's where you really, doing this, you start to master that emotion almost, right? You
Yeah.
start to be able to say, thank you for sharing, but stay over there, and staying with it, because then a story unfolds. And it's kind of like we were doing when you came on. We were practicing scrying into the obsidian. It was a little difficult because of the computer reflection, but the idea that blackness, like you were mentioning, that nothingness is a cave, or is an opening, or is it a doorway, and that there may be this moment when other things are syncing up. You're seeing that nothingness, but maybe it's where everything is starting to sync. And I'm glad you mentioned, because I hadn't mentioned that yet, how I have people start just describing it, right? Well, what does it feel like? What does it look like? Look at it from above, look at it from below, shift around it, instead of just staying static and looking at it, and then believing the voice that has the doubt.
Mm.
Right. So, well, what else was really powerful for you at the time? Because I remember that maybe even during the class, you started immediately going out. You were doing fairs, or within a very short time after the certification.
Yeah. Yeah. I just went, well, first I started, put it out as I was running a women's group. So I put it out there, to just keep doing it, keep trying it, and having really amazing things come through. And then I started doing these kind of like psychic fairs and events. Um, yeah, and just such meeting such beautiful people. And it was just what I loved was interesting for me. It was more the self beliefs of, oh look, the other people are having readings, no one's coming to my table. And I had a book that I brought with me, and I just kept writing notes of what I wanted. And then people started coming, and then once people started coming, because I was just writing these, and saying what I wanted and really putting that in the field, they started coming. And then I remember what was so cool was this one time this young man came to me, probably like 20. And I was like, oh, this is exciting. I like it when, like young people are interested. And he came back a couple of times for a couple of sessions. And it's like, once we got past the first session of kind of the immediate what needed to be known, and then when we went to the second session and we got to go a bit deeper, this whole we went to Atlantis, and it's like, so because I'm so visual, I got to just see and be there, and to describe it and be in this place, and what his role was and what that meant, and now bridging that, bringing that back to this life. And I don't know, I just loved that. It was so amazing. And that's what I love about working with people more than once, is we we go to different, there's things need to unfold in a certain way, and I never know what that's going to be. Sometimes we just stay in this life, sometimes we go to past lives. It depends what, as you always say, what's optimal for you to know at this time. And then the unfolding that happens, and like the depth and the things that need to come, it's just, I just love that. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is. I'm always at the end of a session. The person might be like, wow, or oh my gosh. And I'm like, I know, wow. So it's like, it gets to, and you do. I'm very visual now. I wasn't in the beginning, but that ability to go to these places and to see things, and the vividness of your ability to see it and to travel with them, is one of those things that is actually natural, but it isn't something we were taught, that we could do, that we could be here in a body and project into these other worlds and these other realms,
Yeah.
and everything too. So, well, share another story with us about something else that really shifted, like the story of the client, but also for you, because I like that doubt really helped, Susan said, that's really inspiring that you shared
Mm.
how you deal with doubt. And that, putting yourself out there, it's not like everybody that is coming to the class wants to do this as a business. And yet
Yeah.
when you do, I know Genevieve, she does fairs, and there's that, oh, I'm putting myself out there, what if nobody likes me? And then you're sitting there watching other people, and there could be a whole story that happens. So what other things do you do, or did you learn?
Yeah. Well, now I've got this massive sign because everyone had a sign, and I was like, oh, okay. And at first I had a little sign on my table, and then it was like, as the confidence grew, I've got this massive, I don't know, like 6 or 7 foot thing that rolls out.
Yeah, I used to have a lot of those. I used to do a lot of speaking and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So it like, no, yeah, this is me. And I have done enough, like so many readings now, that I'm totally confident in what I'm bringing is, you know, is good, is it. Now, I have had some unpleasant things at a fair, and this lady came, and then afterward, the people who were running it, anyway, this lady is kind of a troublemaker, kind of a person anyway. And I think because, yeah, maybe I was new, she came to me, and it had this such an amazing reading. It was like so good. And at the end, she was like, no, nope. If you would have said that I was from Japan, I would have believed you. But you didn't say that. And it was like, and so that was another thing that pushed me into overcoming this, like, oh my God, she didn't like it. Da, da, da. But then having the confirmation from some other people who had booths, and then the people who run it, that this woman is um, known for that, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So it was a gift in the fact that it pushed me into, realizing that, yeah, not I'm not for everyone. And I do believe what came through, because it was such an amazing reading, and it felt so profound. And she was choosing, which anybody can, to be like, no, I'm not gonna. But yeah, so that was just a gift for me to deepen into my own process, into my own trust, into my own knowing that that's okay. That's okay, because I know what I'm doing. I know what I came through is true, because so many other people, like, here's this one person who didn't like it, but then there's 150, 200 other people who love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, and that was a gift. It was a gift.
Yeah, it's difficult when that happens because we're conditioned to want approval. And
Yeah.
of course, you're giving yourself, you're being very vulnerable. And when you do this kind of work, it's not like somebody, even if someone comes and tells you 10 minutes of like, oh, this about me, you're still looking at things that they don't see, or or like you said, that bring the picture together in a way. And what I love about that is that you have 200 people who come, and there's the flow, and it's like, thank you, and oh my gosh, and this helped. And this one person comes, and it isn't even like, oh well, the one versus the 200. It's like, if everyone was you, then that only you have that one little part of you that came and said, no, I don't believe you, or challenged you, right? Almost like a Zen master, like, really, really, really? Do you really trust yourself? That. So, and like you said, yes, absolutely. Everybody can reject it if they would like.
Yeah, but that is it. It was just another thing of like, I know this is who I am, and that's okay. you know. But yeah, and then like other situations where something will come through, and then I'll start describing it, and then this one I'm trying to remember, because sometimes they kind of flow together. It was a gorilla. That's it. and I started to, and I just, it started out, and then I start describing, and then I was like, oh, there's a gorilla here, and and they were like, yeah, that is my, that is my animal, that is my guide. I work with them all the time, and it's like boom, it just, and this is people I've never met before, never talked to before. And even when I talk to them a little bit, they never mention anything about a gorilla or a, you know, so it's like things that, and those are just more confirmations that yes, you know, with their permission, they allow me to see, and it's like, and it just all comes in.
Fantastic. Oh, well, thank you so much. Would you be willing to do a couple little mini readings? Nothing like, an hour or anything like that for some people?
Sure.
Okay. I didn't want to, you don't have to. I don't know what your timing is like and everything there. But I know that it was Lisa Cat. Uh, let's see. I think Lisa said she would like to. Yes, she would love to hear if Sky has anything for you. So we can't hear them because of the platform. However, Lisa Cat with a K. And so Lisa, I'm assuming you're ready, and you can put something in the chat if you like. But they're used to me, Sky, of like just open to what's optimal for you at this time.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, if she's put that in the chat, then guessing, I don't want to assume, but do I have your permission, Lisa, to see? Lisa Cat. Okay. Huh. Okay. So what comes? It's kind of like this design, but it's getting clearer. It is a flame, and it's a candle, a white candle with a flame. Um, just a darker orange with a yellow. What is significant about this candle and flame? Yeah. So it's like this candle and this flame is really significant because this is right now, it seems like, and there's a lot just of darkness around it, yet you've got, this is here for you now. There is a candle, there is a flame, there is this flicker of light, this flicker of hope, and that white, the candle is, yeah, like it's like handing you like a dove, like peace, like this beacon, a bridge, if you will, from this dark to the light. And it is here for you now, and all you have to do is reach out and grab it and take it, and it's there, and it's like I feel you grabbing it now, and there's a warmth there, and it's like that warmth kind of radiates, like from your hand up your arm, and uh, goes into your heart, and it's like it's this beacon of hope that yes, it's okay, it's gonna be okay. This light, this candle, this hope, this beacon, this peace is here, and it's available to you now. It's just reach out and grab it, and every day is just gonna be day by day, step by step. Um, you know, one foot in front of the other, and this lighter, this candle will get brighter. It will take up the more of the darkness, and it's like if you stayed on this path, I can see that on that timeline the darkness is dispelled, and it's just like a bright sunny day on this beautiful path.
Mm, I love it.
Mm.
Absolutely beautiful. That would be perfect, isn't it? Absolutely. Yes, permission. Oh my gosh. I love that. I know Lisa, so I think this is really, I can affirm that that's very relevant because she's a beautiful light, and yet she feels very limited in some ways. So
Mm.
staying, it's a really nice affirmation too. Um, Wonderful. So would you be willing to do another?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to give you the names and then you can intuit. That's what I do because there's always more people than what we can do. So you can see we have Spirit Messenger, we have
Okay.
Josie and Susan and MK. They've all asked. So
Okay.
you have permission.
Yeah, thank you. Well, so you said spirit messenger, like, oh, there's just something about that one. Yeah, okay. And maybe I can just do a quick little something. Let me just see for all of them. So that first one is like we're in the treetops at the night in the forest. Definitely a I want to say jaguar, but it's all black. It's all black, but there it does still have like that design. You know, they have that puzzly design, but it is all black, green eyes. And what's interesting about this is that it's in the very very top of the forest, and you know if you imagine the very top of the tree, it's where the branches are very thin and small. It's not like where they come out from the trunk and they get, you know, thick and they go really thin. But this jaguar is in the dark and it is just very lightly walking over these very thin little branches at night. But it can see clear. And it's like what I'm seeing is, um, you know, when if you've ever seen like those nature movies and they show you they put on the night vision and it's like all they see is kind of like a green outline. It looks like that. So I'm like looking through the eyes of the jaguar and it's that um, like everything dark but this just green outline and there's um, what this is about is walking. Interesting. It's a walking with the spirits, walking at this level at the very tops of the trees with these like other nature spirit, these spirit walkers that can um, walk over these very thin branches and be able to okay. There's a lot coming in all at once. So it's connecting with the divine. This is what this is about, really, is about you connecting with, you know, your higher self, your I am presence, working with these levels up here and bringing in these other spirits, these spirit guides, and even this jaguar is a spirit. It isn't like a flesh one that walks on the ground. This is also a spirit animal, and it's like with these spirits, the spirits just kind of look like outlines of like a human form, and so it's you connecting with these higher levels and they're there. That's what they're saying. They're here. It's time to work with them at this level, and how you get there kind of like through some deep meditation or some trance, maybe some scrying, working with these other beings, and you're ready. They're here. They're kind of like knocking on the door. We're here. Come on, let's go. So that that's that. Um, what was the next one? Katie? No, was that one?
Let's see
No,
here.
Emma something.
Josie.
Josie. Okay, Josie. Oh, cleaning that one. Josie, okay. I'll sing a mala, prayer beads. Really beautiful, and there's this kind of essence of devotion, and like that would be really helpful right now. It seems like maybe you'll do something like that, but leaning into that a bit more would be really helpful at this time. And this, like, you know, there's 108 beads on a mala, and then you've got the guru beads that sticks out, and it's like you're walking this path around this mala, and yeah, and you're there, you're on it, you are on the path. I don't know if you've been questioning that or maybe looking for next steps, but you're there, you're on it. Doesn't matter what the number is of the beads. What matters is this devotion, and it's like a devotion to yourself as well, to yourself, to being on this path, to trusting this path. And then there's that, you know, that guru bead that is something there also, like helping you, guiding you, looking out for you, and that is something that you can also ask for help from that, and you know what that is, and that's yeah. So just showing that, and it feels, yes, just like pinky rose quartz. There's love on this path, and yeah, no one said it's gonna be easy, but there you are, and it's good. Okay, what was the next one? Ella?
Susan?
Susan. Okay. Was there one that starts with an E?
No, there's MK.
Oh, okay.
And
Susan. The last one wasn't Ella or something like that?
Josie Edwards was her name.
Okay. I don't know why this E is the letter E just seems there. Okay. So the next one, oh, Susan. Susan. Okay, Susan. There's a lake. It's a lake with this is green around the lake, and the lake is it's really dark. The lake is dark. I don't know, like the word murkiness comes. Okay, and then there's you standing at the edge of this lake, and it's so interesting. So the sky is like a sunny day sky, like a bright sunny day sky, yet you're looking at this dark lake. Okay, and what this, what just saying what's coming is perhaps the focus right now is on this dark lake, but realizing that there's this bright blue sky all around you, which is there's this infinite bright open possibilities, yet for some reason you are like just looking at this dark murkiness of this lake. And it's not exactly, I don't know if murkiness is the right word, it's just, yeah, there's just something about that's it. All you have to do is just lift up your chin, shift your focus, shift your awareness, and take in all of this that's also around you. It's not just about that. And this lake is some kind of issue, some kind of something in your life that is maybe bothering you, that you're just focused on, and just knowing that you can just simply lift your chin and look at something else. Focus on that sky. Look at that brightness. And I don't know, it feels like there's a lot of pain in that lake. And that's okay. Think about just saying hello to that, accepting that, and there's all this here for you. And in that, and being able to look up, shift the gaze. I don't know, I just feel like there's this lightness that kind of comes off, and it's like, oh God, I can just set that down and just, okay to look up and be with that that blue sky and that. And even in just doing that, and even just now, I just, as I kind of look up, there's a shift in that possibility, and that just brings a brightness and a lightness, and um, yeah, and it can be that easy. Yeah, hope that helps.
Yeah, beautiful.
What was the next one? Is it
Let's see. MK.
MK? MK. Okay. MK. Okay. Just swimming. There's this swimming. What are we swimming in? Yeah, it's not swimming in water. It's oh, okay. It's like swimming through the. It's like I'm in the stars. It's like yeah, like in. I'm just like swimming and just looking around, and there's just this like stars swimming through like this. I don't know, like the word nebula comes, or galaxy. There's this kind of open, um, yeah, expansive swimming with the stars. And yeah, there's a peace about that. There's peace in that. There's something quite expansive and open, and it's not scary in any way. It feels peaceful. Like you can imagine doing what you would do in water swimming, but you're just in this, in yeah, space, I guess, in just not, definitely not on the planet, but I don't know, it's like this just openness. There's an openness to connecting to the infinite, and to this place where, oh, where you're all one with, yeah, with the stars, with the galaxies, and like interesting, the words come, bending space and time, and there's okay, like this is something you've done before. This is something you've done before, and there's a memory there, and that is kind of like, almost like I can hear you being like, oh, that's like, wow, fantastical. But it is. It's something you've done before, and there's a memory there, and there's, if you want to just grab onto that and pull that in and work with it, you can. You could. It's there. It's if you wanted to, it's there. And there's, yeah, see, like I'm doing this with my hand. There's this infinite, and that would mean really kind of up leveling yourself and allowing that ego to quieten down, and but the ability is there to be able to connect with that, if you wanted.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. How generous and whatever. Isn't she amazing? Like I got to read some of these to you. So Lisa said, wow, thank you, Sky. Perfect and beautiful. I'm totally crying. Thank you. And Spirit Messenger says, wow, amazing, Sky. Thank you. And she also said, I'm drawn to trees and animals and spirit guides as animals. So this resonates with me. I'm excited to connect with them and explore even more. And Josie says, yes, Guy, you're spot on. I do have a guru I study with. And my intuition has told me to change my devotion up to not as much to the gods and goddesses, but include myself as one of them. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah, beautiful. And then Susan said, yes, I feel the light around me, and I need to believe that I can just lift my chin. Thanks and
Mm.
blessings. Beautiful. Oh, thank you
Yes.
so much. So Susan's coming to Avalon.
Oh, cool.
Yes, yes. So hopefully we'll have a chance to. Sky's going to be with me a little bit at the conference that I'm speaking at, but then after in October is my retreat. So we will have to have dinner with you or do something fun with you when we're there. And I know I'm so excited to see you. I didn't. Were you living in Glastonbury when you were doing the class?
No.
Oh, okay. I knew you were in England, but I
Yeah.
didn't think you were. Oh, okay, good. I thought Chris kept looking at me. How didn't you know that? I go, I don't know. It's just like,
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm over here now. Recently moved over to Avalon, so.
oh, wow. And loving it?
Yeah, it is, as they say, it is the heart center, the heart chakra of this planet, and it is, and it can be very, since coming here, she's just been like, boom, look at this, and you need to work this out right now.
Yeah.
And so it's, yeah, very transformative. There's a lot of energies, and there's just a lot of support in the land, and with all the sacred sites, and it's just, yeah, really amazing.
Yeah. I mean, do I have your permission to share the picture you sent of the full moon over the tour?
Oh yeah, I know it wasn't very a good one, but yeah, you can
Yeah.
share.
I'll edit it or zoom in a little bit,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah. Just if you zoomed in, you could see it.
yeah,
So
I did. I put it on the TV last night and I was showing Chris. I'm like, look, yeah. So
yes,
yeah, well, I'll put that in the email so you guys can see that magic. But I know I'm just over the moon, and it wasn't like I was thinking about coming or not thinking about coming or anything. I hadn't realized what Glastonbury had become. That this had really grown to the point where I keep telling my kids it's like we used to go to something called the Festival of the Goddess every year. And it was, on a big piece of property where it was just women and girls. And we would run around and play dress up and do all spiritual work for 4 or 5 days together. And they would wait every year for it. We would wear our fairy wings and, paint glitter on it, all that. And I said, it's like living in the Festival of the Goddess every day. It seems like there.
yeah, it is. It is, and yeah, you get all kind of people here, and it is. I mean, it's totally normal for people to be walking around dressed in their fairy things or their goddess things or their, whatever things, and that's just like how it is here.
I love that, the self-expression. What's your favorite thing there?
Gosh, well, I love, love, love the White Spring so much.
Mm.
And I love going to the tour. Oh my God. And then, no, not yes, Friday? It's Thursday. So the weather here is very, well, England, it's just, you never know what's going to happen. But Thursday was a beautiful sunny day. And I went up to the tour for sunset. Um, and and I was sitting with a friend, and there was just this dragon in the sky and the clouds. And you know how it was like sometimes usually the clouds move really fast here, but this one was a high up cloud, and it was just sat there for the longest time, and it was so clear. that it
Wow.
was a dragon. I did get a photo. I'll send that to you. And
Oh,
just the dragon energy, I know you've been talking about that, is very strong here because we're on the dragon line right here as well.
yeah. Hmm.
And yeah, there's just so many beautiful. I said, you just step out into nature, and it's just. And then that night, there was like butterflies and dragonflies, and just it seemed like the fairies were just everywhere. It's so amazing.
Fireflies. Oh my gosh, fireflies are my favorite. Oh, pure
Oh,
magic.
dragonflies. Sorry,
Oh,
dragonflies.
dragonflies.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I love them too. So
yeah.
Lucille is our dragonfly. Well, yeah, so we have private access. We're going to go to the White Springs several times, but we do have one day where we have a private access day on our last day, and we also in the Chalice Well. So
Mm,
we'll be there a few different times, but we will have our private time there too. So yes, it's been amazing to get called here to start to discover what's going on now,
mm,
and living where I live in Mayan land. It's like they like the tourists. It's becoming more popular for tourists to come here. However, they don't like you doing spiritual work at the sacred sites. So where I used to be able to get access to go in early and before people or go to the top of the pyramid, and all of that is disappearing. And the last time I was at one of my favorite pyramids, I was having Chris take some pictures of me, and I changed my cover up. I didn't change my dress. I just had a cover, that was white, and then I put one on that was a jaguar. And then this guard came over to me and said, "You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that." And I was like, "We're
mm,
just taking pictures. There's nobody else here, so you can't." And she followed us around, and then she told us we couldn't sit somewhere that we
mm.
always sit to meditate. A little bit later, a guide came through with a group and told them to sit where we were sitting. So then I look into this and I see people fully expressing, and saying, looking up the Chalice Well, and they're like, "Would you like to come with your group and do weirdo meditation stuff?" Well, yes, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very special, very special.
Yes.
So, well, thank you so much. I want, where can people find you? Do you have a way that people can find you?
Yeah. Yes. So I have the probably where I'm most active is on Instagram,
Okay.
and that's at home.in.myself.
I love
And
that.
that's what my website is, homeinmyself.com. So yeah, you can find me there, but on Instagram you can find me there, and I'm gonna actually myself be having a course coming up in September. But that's a really good way on Instagram to connect and see what's going on. That's probably the best way.
In myself. It kind of got weird there. Homeinmyself.com. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's my website.
Oh, perfect. Well, I'll make sure and put that in the links below here
Thank
too.
you.
So anybody who's watching that, they can find you.
Yes,
And thank you and happy full moon. Isn't this wonderful? We get to do this on the full moon.
such a beautiful full moon. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, well, thank you, everybody. Wasn't she wonderful? I'm wondering, yes, somebody, spirit message. I wonder if we can contact Sky for further readings. Yes,
Yeah,
we can.
yes, yes. You definitely can. That would be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And MK says, wow, that's pretty wild. I can fly. I'm trying to connect with everything. Thanks for the confirmation. So wonderful. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, sweetie. I love you. I'm so excited that we've come back and found each other.
Yeah.
And not that long from now, we'll get to be together.
Yeah. Be so fun. So fun. Yes. Yes. Come to Avalon. Everybody come. And hopefully I'll see you when Nan comes in October.
Yeah. Okay, sweetie. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.
Everybody send lots and lots of love over to Sky. Thank you so much. You can see why she's so wonderful. Also, I do want to tell you before you go that I mentioned on the mastermind that I'm doing now has a lot of people in it that that were in class with you. And I said, guess what? I talked to Sky, and they're like, I remember Sky. Oh my gosh, how's Sky? So it was quite that conversation of everyone. So they send their love to you too.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
Thank
Nan.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, take care. Bye bye. All right. Whoops. All right. Yes. Wasn't that wonderful? Isn't she just delightful, delightful, delightful? So this is just such a great example of what happens in the classes. It's not just what I like about the Intuition Awakening class is that it's not just about me. Woo, woo, woo. Because it's kind of easy for you to say, oh, well, you can do it, but I can't, and you might see me do this all the time. But it was so fun to watch Sky do that because I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. She's doing that and she's doing this. And so those are the kinds of things, of course, everybody receives information differently. But when you're in a community, you get that feedback, you get that confirmation. Like she said, I'm there to help keep showing you how to sit with nothing, how to deal with doubt, how to deal with criticism, how to unhook, because the truth is what we're doing is becoming a clear and open channel. We're being a conduit. And what Sky might see for you and what I see for you might be two different things. So we do different practices. We might pair up and, let's say Genevieve and Sky might do readings for each other. Or one Sky would read Genevieve, and then Brittany would get a reading from Genevieve, and we go around like that. But sometimes we play different things where we all do a reading for someone. So let's say Susan is there, and she's going to be there, and so we all do a reading for Susan. And then we all share. So we might have one person, or I might have everyone be silent while we're scanning Susan and receiving, like Sky just did. And then maybe people write it down or just take notes. And then we take turns sharing what we all saw for the one person. And the power of developing your intuition in a way that you're not alone, that you're in a loving community, that you have me, but you have these other people, and then you can pair up outside. You're with people who get what you're doing. They're not going to say, what weirdo stuff are you doing? What are you talking about? And whether you want to do this or not, I'm going to be doing the certification that Sky went through again in November. And so, and you have to take the intuition class before you can do that. So there's, we have, I think, 4 years of this now. Wow. And right now, if you join in the next week, I think, you still will get, or in the next couple of days, actually, I think, one of the bonuses is to get the entire course of the first Intuition Awakening class. And the power of the repetition of this is that you get the recordings. So there's the readings. And of course, you go back and you listen to the reading that you received, you listen to the reading that you gave, and then you hear more. That's why I record everything, because you hear things, people at the end of a session, I do, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be unpacking this for so long. This is, really amazing. And the same thing when you receive or when you give one, you can go back and listen to it again. But then you also are with the group for a while that you get to see, they'll say, oh, thank you. That reading was right. It felt just perfect right now. But then 3 days from now, they might come back and say, oh my gosh, guess what happened? And your reading was right there. Or, oh, a week later, I feel so different. Or like the lady that I did the soul lineage session with a couple of weeks ago, emailed me the other day and said, well, I think it's time for some more sessions because, of what was happening. But she, in repeating that process 7 times, she said at the last one, this spiral of light came out of her body, went over and under the place where she works in the ground, under the building. And like a week later, they gave her a raise. So we're working with subtle energies. We're working with subconscious energies. We're working with realms that we can't see, we can't measure, we can't scientifically define. And that's the beauty of it. You see, like the getting to live in the magic every day, and then having a community of people who live in the magic. And then people took the certification class who weren't necessarily like Sky, who was already doing some healing work or wanted to do this work as a business. They do it because when you can now see and feel and increase. Like, I wasn't visual in the beginning, a lot of people, and now it's so fun to see Sky says she's very visual now, and she just starts doing exactly what I was teaching, was like, just tune into the person. We create the space, we tune in, I teach you how to do all of that, and then we're holding space, and then you just start watching, you start receiving. So earlier we did the scrying, and some of you were saying, oh, I've never done that with the open eye thing, where you look like you could look into a sacred symbol. This is one of the light body healing activations of gratitude. And there's so many layers. There's this Celtic symbol, but there's also the flower of life, and there's colors, and there's words and vibrations, and there's so much in here. And you start looking at it, and you take it in through your eyes, and then you feel it, and you can feel it on your skin. And so you might do the same thing, and you don't even have to see the person. That's the beautiful thing, is maybe you're not seeing them, but you're seeing them with your other senses. So whatever you do in your life, wherever you are, you have the ability to awaken more senses and clear those paths and get rid of the doubt and get the confirmation right back again. And so you're never wrong. You might realize, oh, I think I was projecting. Like, I know I have a client one time that I could see that she was coming in and she was attempting to her logical brain wasn't letting go. And it was like, oh, I know these healing principles. And so she was trying to give advice, right? And there's nothing wrong with your advice or the things that your big brain has learned. However, when you go in and you do intuitive work, you surrender to what is there wanting to speak to you versus what you think should happen. So oftentimes that comes up first, like, oh, okay, well, you should love yourself and make sure that you do this thing and you feel more peace and have gratitude. And I can see and tell when you're not fully surrendering into that energy flow, because there's so much more that you could be seeing and perceiving and receiving. And then every time you practice, of course, and every activation that we do, we're awakening a new sense, or we're giving that, you have those to repeat over and over. So if you join in the next few days, you'll get the whole Intuition Awakening Summer Camp, and you can listen to the readings if you want, but you can take all of the activations, all of the classes and the lessons about how, some of the things you might say, oh, I've heard that, but are you applying it? And then putting something you learn directly into practical application right there in that moment is another one of the keys to successfully transforming from doubt and fear and lack and habits that seem like they might be hard to break into other ones. So, oh my gosh, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy that she was here. And yeah, wasn't that just delightful? She's just a love, as you can see. And I'll put her link below. But she said homeinmyself.com is her website. And so, yes, she's, I'm sure, just an incredible healer. And the other thing that I liked what she was saying is she just starts to describe it. So what happens sometimes is, I thought it was funny, she said that she was sharing the session she did where she was just seeing black, and we were just scrying, right, with the black, just the black, versus Amy, who would see white. And, Amy is surrendered. She told me last year, she was trying to do her sessions in her more linear way of doing the things she learned in these other practices, which is fine. But she said, then the intuition just keeps coming in and then hijacking or photobombing in a way what she's doing. And she says, I finally just surrendered, and the sessions are like so much better. They're so amazing. So a lot of times people will leave and be a little bit, well, okay, I don't know, I'll go back to the way I did it. And this is going to never leave you, because this is just a step. If you've done all of them and you do this one, it's the next step. It's a step on your unraveling, on your spiral journey up into the realms of becoming a fluid. It's not like we walk around seeing this stuff all the time. Of course, you have permission. You have your way of clearing and cleansing. You saw she was doing some of the things to clear away from one person to the next to make sure that she's connected with those. And those are all things that I teach you. And so I don't walk around, suddenly going, oh, Susan needs a reading, although I do have a lot of my students, I bilocate and I see them and work with them. And I always, if you're in a current group, I'm always doing a group healing and a blessing almost every night with you. And but if you just start saying what you're seeing, it starts to take a shape. It maybe opens the doors. So if you imagine like the sacred cave we were talking about, you just start walking into the cave and you're like, I can't see anything right now. I think I see that. Oh, that's a reflection there. Oh, that's interesting. And then you just start talking pretty soon if you get out of that logical mind without realizing what's coming through you starts to make sense. And I've mentioned before, but many years ago, I designed something called the soul reading. Now, the soul readings I do now are very different. It was a structure. I wanted a structure. So I made pendulum charts of soul talents and soul goals and soul lineages and soul fears and soul powers. And then in an hour, I would get on the phone because there wasn't video back then, and it would record it. And I would only ask the person to tell me their name and where they were born and their birthday. And I don't know why I asked that. I just asked that sort of as GPS, right? Like to make sure I'm connecting to the right person. And then I would get my charts out and I would get my pendulum. As I mentioned earlier, I've been trained in very high level pendulum work. And I trusted that. And so I didn't have their hair or their DNA or anything. I just wrote their name and their information on a little piece of paper. I put it there. I connected and they came on, but I didn't let them talk. I didn't say, tell me your problems or what do you want? I wanted to not know anything. And then I would start saying, okay, here's the chart for soul talents. And I mentioned earlier about Lucille, dragonflies, Lucille. Dragonflies coming all around the tour. Oh my gosh. And we get that here on the pyramids often when we do our spiritual work. All of a sudden there's dragonflies in vortexes over us. And I would go, oh, okay, soul talents. So one of the soul talents was creativity and the other one was logic, right? And I was mentioning how some people have both and they're able to be really abstract. They make good scientists and then they come back and put it here. Or my mentor in radionics was that way. She was a psychometry. She was able to expand into the infinite field and find information and think very abstract. She was the one that worked with her dog on the other side. And then she would bring it back and she would create these charts. I have books and books and books of frequencies, healing frequencies, so that she brought back multidimensional healing frequencies, because the original radionic ones are they're good, but they're only on this plane. And so then I would ask the pendulum and it would move around the chart and point to their soul talent. And I would say, how many do they have? And it would say, I have 3. And so then I would get them. And it was just a fluidity. I told the people not to talk the whole hour. And at the end of the hour, they could tell me what they thought. And it was such an exercise in trust and pushing myself, because I didn't have that consciousness of, oh, they asked this problem, or, oh, they have this fear. I just trusted that if they came to me, that there was something, some reason. And that's the same thing as I was telling you, if we all did a reading for Susan right now, we would all probably say something different. And yet there's going to be these synchronicities. There's going to be these things that connect, that cross, that like, wow, okay, look at that. You saw an owl, I saw an owl, or I got wisdom and you got wisdom. And yet you don't have to, because we each are wired so differently. We have our own quintessence. We have our own soul essence that is supposed to see things differently. And you will receive a message for Susan that is optimal for you to see. And it's something that Susan maybe already knows, but her hearing it from you in a different way, or having confirmation that you saw it, now that changes things, right? And then I might see something different, and someone else might see someone different. So this is a great, it helped me to remember how to explain more of the stuff that we do in the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp, and also that we will be doing a certification. And I haven't done one in a few years for this, and it's a whole new level. We're in a whole new game now, right? The dragon energy. Oh my God, it was so much fun for her to say, "Oh, the dragon energy is so big here." Woo, 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 woo. And then the idea that you are ripe, you're ready, you are ready to have that confirmation, to have that community, to have that sacred space, and to have these new activations. We're going to do a very unique, very unusual, very new upgrade to the third eye. We're going to do a process to get rid of any vows that are still left. Oh yeah, she mentioned the contracts, the agreements, right? I always call them agreements. So the agreements that we have are things that are made in other lives and this life that say, "Oh, I'm never doing that," or "I don't want this." And you maybe block yourself from something. It's time for you to speak up. It's time for you to use your psychic gifts. It's time for you to use your vision. And yet you have agreements with yourself from lives where pain, loss, and pain and different fears happen, that you kind of made an agreement. "I'm never doing that again," or "I'm not going to allow that again." And you hold that in your soul. That's what we're here to move past. So when you see those agreements for other people, for clients, or for classmates, that's extremely powerful. And then you can get a reflection, right? Like we did earlier, a reflection of something for yourself as well. Knowing what those are is profound, because when I started doing hypnosis sessions, I didn't have an agenda to go to past lives, and nobody else did. And yet that was what kept happening. And it still does. And what happened back then was there wasn't this deeper spiritual thing, and I didn't have all this experience and knowledge, and I wasn't like traveling to realms and telling them all this stuff. It was very much more about going somewhere and them starting to see something, and then this co-creative process about, well, what do you see, and what do you feel, and where are you, and what does that mean? And people would come out and say, like, "Wow, I didn't know I had past lives, but that answered all my questions of the problem I have." And then we can actually do an agreement process where that agreement is, "Oh, I see how it started. Now I understand." And I can have more of a logical thing that can then help that intuitive side of me, help the fear, because you notice how your logical brain can sometimes help you get over your fears, right? Around that too. So I was just such a magical full moon day. Yay, Lucy. Okay, you guys. Well, unbelievable, beautiful, beautiful. Now, I'm going to close up, but I did want to. The ascending universal butterfly came in about a half an hour ago, and I want to, of course. Hi, everybody on Facebook. And I did post the YouTube link on Facebook this time, and I believe we all aligned up. So I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful for all of you. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I love the oak tree that came in. I feel that oak tree energy is going to be with us all day. I hope that you enjoyed the scrying. And I want to just do a card for the Ascending Universal Butterfly, because she did come on, or you came on and asked about a reading from Sky, but after she had started and I wanted to honor her, I thought it was really a very kind for her to take her time and to come to share about how powerful the Intuition Awakening School is and what's happened for her. And I love to hear how she's, getting this confirmation and doing these things, and it's her life. It's her livelihood, it's her business, and it's her ability to live in this magical world. And that confidence, you can see how the confidence and the trust that she has in herself and what she sees has grown so dramatically. So for you, if you weren't going to become a psychic reader or something, but you wanted that confidence in your intuitive guidance, or in your ability to solve problems, or to find solutions, or you receive something and you think, "Oh, okay," like what she said for Lisa, she saw a candle in the dark, and because this wasn't a longer reading, that's about all she saw. But then all that information started to come in as you describe what you see, right? And I was just thinking about a long time ago when I started to do hypnosis, and I used to go to events with my mentor where we ate fire and we broke boards and we walked on glass. I've done it all. Okay. and, a friend of mine, very, very dear friend of mine, we met in real estate investing. So I met a lot of really cool spiritual people through real estate investing. Interesting. And, he went to these as well, and then we lived near each other, so he would come over and we would practice doing sessions with each other. And I was going through my divorce. I was going through a lot of loss and a lot of confusion, a lot of judgment, a lot of disowning, a lot of old patterns from other lives and old agreements that I had. And he came over to do a session for me, a hypnosis session. So back then we didn't record them. And we were sitting on the couch and we did this session. And in the beginning, so he did the thing where we do in the beginning to bring you into a certain state. And then he's like, what do you see? Nothing. This used to be me. This used to be me. The first time I ever was hypnotized, I went to the lightning field, which is a art installation of lightning rods in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico, and with a group of friends, and we stayed for 3 days. They drop you off and they give you food, and then they leave, and you don't go anywhere. And so a friend of mine said, oh, I just finished a little hypnosis course. Who wants to be hypnotized? I thought everybody would want to be. Nobody did. So I got it. And she kept taking me into relaxation, taking me into trance. And then she'd say, what do you see? Nothing. What do you see? Nothing. And I could feel her next to me just getting really frustrated. And everybody was sitting around the room staring at me. And I was not that confident yet back then that I would just be in it. I'd be like, oh, and I was sweating and everything. And then finally, something happened. And I started to leave my body in that very classic way that you read about, where my body started to get really big, like I was a giant Macy's Day balloon. And I was just sitting there, and I became very quiet, and she could sense it. And she said, what's happening? And I told her, and she goes, just go with it. Just stay with it. And so I sat there, and my body got really big. And then I started floating up out of my body. And it was just like I was a giant balloon. And I could see in my closed eyes, right? In my mind's eye, I could see everyone in the room. And they're all watching me. And then I floated right out of the ceiling, the roof. I just did this in the mastermind in a activation for everybody to become one with the infinite field. We literally became aware of our body, and then we went up through the roof and so on. And that's one to repeat. So that's why these courses are powerful, to have these repetition things. And with that particular one, it almost felt like there was a little magnet on my back, and I just was kind of like this, and I just got drawn up, and I could see, across the planet. And then we went into darkness for a while, and then it just was light. And that's all I did. I never heard anything. I never saw anything. I didn't have angels talking to me. I didn't have dragons flying around, but the profound sense of love, the actual experience of leaving my body in this way. And then she would say, there's someone behind you, turn around and talk to them. Well, I couldn't in my own reality. I was like, I can't. And I just was infused with divine love. I lost my fear of death. I lost a lot of my challenges and pains that I had around many, many things in my life. And then I floated back down and came back into my body. So things don't have to have a big story to have a profound impact on you. But the time I did it with my friend Dan, he was like, what do you see? Well, by this time I was seeing stuff, but I was like, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. And finally, what I saw was if I was looking at the side of a house, very rural, kind of falling apart, had that siding on it. It was like a pale blue, kind of cracked and broken, some of the tiles. And I was looking down where a spigot, a faucet for a hose came out of the wall. And again, it was all old, and there was like a dirty rag tied around it, like it probably leaked, and the grass and the little weeds were coming up, and nothing was nice and everything. And I just kept staring at it, and that's all I could see for a while. And finally, the idea came, well, follow the hose. Okay. So I stopped staring at that because it was, I can still see it right now. It's so vivid. And I was like, all I see is this, ragged old thing. And so I started following the hose. And it turned into this unbelievable experience where I was this very, very poor man, lived very rurally, had hardly anything. But I talked in kind of a Southern accent, and I was actually speaking in this accent. Would have been interesting to have the recording of that. And he had all this horrific stuff happen to him in his life, just horrible. And he lived very rurally, but there was a little town and everybody knew who he was. And it turned out he wrote a little book, probably just locally or something. And it was called, And That's Just the Way It Is. And isn't that funny now to think about? I keep teaching acceptance, Josie and some of you would be able to tell you it's over the many years, all the teachings and learnings and the experiences have come into the way I share it is just accept what is. So just accept that you're not seeing it. Just accept that you're staring at a hose for 10 minutes, just accept it and let it unfold, because then something happened. And I saw all of his life. I was talking in the accent. And every time, what he learned was every time someone was cruel to him, every time he lost something, every time he didn't have anything, he got to that place of peace by saying, well, that's just the way it is. And that's kind of how he would talk. He would say, well, that's just the way it is. So, might as well be happy. So you can follow something, you can experience something. So I teach you a lot of things, and I'm there to help guide you in the class of change your perspective. If you're staring at something from the front, go to the back. Like I told you about the story recently where I was standing outside the circle and I was looking. So finally I walked around the circle and I still didn't see what was going on inside of it. Stone circle, like a Stonehenge thing. And then I thought, well, I'll touch a stone. I'll put my chest against it, because I was this little boy, and I could feel it. I could really feel it. But again, still, I couldn't go inside. I didn't know what was going on. So I just sat through it, and it ended up being extremely profound. So don't get your agenda and your frustration involved when you're doing intuitive work, is the bottom line here. Hi, Arietta. It was happening in real time right here now. So beautiful, mind-blowing, her gifts. Good. The wildest thing about Sky's reading today and her deep seeing was I was literally standing in front of a candle when she was describing it. It was both profound because of my personal history and that. Wow. Yeah. Well, I hope you're going to be in intuition class, Lisa. Another amazing time together. Oh, you're so welcome. Hi, Marnie. Okay. So I do want to do Ascending Universal Butterfly. I feel like I want to pull a card for you. What a wonderful name. I moved Nike because it's all I could see in the screen when we were scrying, right? Okay. Ascending Universal Butterfly. Classic. Ooh, well, okay. So let's find this one. So what I got for you is Sacred Feminine Solar Initiation. And it's Phoenix energy. Okay, this one here. So this is about that rebirthing and cosmic consciousness coming through you and igniting your spiritual sun self. So the sun represents self in astrology, right? So this one doesn't come up often. So I hope this resonates with you. It's very interesting because Chris makes I channel it. Chris makes the artwork, and then I have Donna, and I had her add this light coming out of the eyes and the flower of life behind and everything. But it really is, I mean, if you can see, this is sort of those blue beings. There's a lot of Hindu and Indian gods and goddesses who had this blue skin, and of course Shiva, and then you've got the Syrians come with the blue skin, but there's another level to that as well. So it may mean that to you, it may not. And this is about that solar initiation of rebirth through the gold ray, through the sun, which we know is born every day. right? And that idea that the sun sets and we die, or that the ashes, that everything is burned through the fire and the sun. And then there's that rebirth and coming to the place where you're one with the cosmic consciousness. So what you can see about this is that fire and that light behind you and coming through in a way that you are the light. And instead of the solar initiation coming in this way directly to the forehead, which we do like at the pyramids and at the equinox and stuff, it comes in this way. It's you bringing that, entering you, and then the beams of light coming out from that. So let me just tune in more. I'm so attuned to your beautiful name. Yes. So when you have the opportunity to see through light, see through who you really are, see that you are experiencing and expressing something that's bigger than you, that idea of seeing from light and rebirthing moment to moment, that there's an infinite amount of sun behind you, an infinite amount of energy that is coming through you to you. And there's almost like a heat behind me on here. And I feel like, oh my gosh, this is really on fire. And that there's something you're resisting, that something is going to bring you forward into such a beautiful way of seeing things in a different way, of accepting that you are designed, very designed for something different, for something new, and that initiation is happening right now. The full moon, of course, is such a beautiful opportunity because it's complete opposite to the sun. And so that sacred feminine is opening you up and the sun is shining directly on you. And this is your spiritual sun. This is your self. This is the higher level of yourself. And that ascended self is wanting to see now, wanting to come through now. That you have to let something go. You have to let something die. You have to burn the old, burn it down. Let the heat, the fire, the light, everything that comes out when we burn something, and then let the ashes be what's left. That is the essence. That is the alchemy. And that is there for you because there's things in your life that have left, that have burned down, that have, you feel like there's been perhaps a very painful or a very, well, I keep hearing the word tragic in a way, experience that makes you feel like, why? And that it's a hook, it's holding on, and it's keeping you attached to this idea that things need to be in a certain way and that you can't become from nothing or from this rubble or from this failure or from this loss or from this lack or from the lack of a structure or lack of a knowing or lack of an idea of where you're going and what you're doing. This is the time to let go of that structure, to burn down the ideas and the structure around the mind that has kept you to a certain limit of what you believe is possible. And that idea that you embody an ascending universal butterfly is so perfect for you, but you are stuck in a reality that you perceive that there is no way to do it, that you don't know who's going to support you or what to do, or you have to get these certain things done first before that happens. And that is not true. It's like to be reborn from the ashes is to understand that you rise from nothing. You first came from nothing. You will go back to nothing. You are not a body. You're not a time. You are not your things. And when you let those go and you become nothing, no thing, no body, you actually have the ability to then become this ashes. But the ashes aren't nothing, like we learned. The ashes have something there, and we take the ashes and we put them into our garden, and it's very good for the garden. It helps the plants grow, right? And we take the ashes and all kinds. Sometimes there's traditions where you put the ashes on your forehead, And that is opening that third eye. So the ashes are what's left. It's distillation of what you have experienced, of what you have had. And it's distilled down, 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 down. And now you just have this very almost etheric substance that if you touch it or you blow on it, it dissipates, right? Or if you get some water on it, just becomes one with that water and it goes away. But there's something in it. And what's in those ashes that you are rebirthing from, that you're rising from with these beautiful new wings, is valuable. It's like taking a painful experience and extracting the wisdom from it, extracting the confidence or the strength from it, that it was painful, and yet now I'm ready to take from it. What was the lesson? What was the opportunity? What was that? Thank you. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Well, I was going to end, and I feel inspired to do, so excited for the Intuition Awakening class. I've grown and evolved so much since the last time. I know, Josie, it is such an honor to know you. I'm so excited to have you there. And thank you for sharing your experiences here. Thank you for sharing with people, how much has shifted for you. And there you go. So if you're still here, Universal Butterfly, please share how you felt about that. And I wanted to see here. La 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 la. Josie said she was watching the replay and was amazed at what I remembered from the last time I took the class. I'm in and ready for the next level. Yeah, it's one of those things that becomes a part of you and part of your life, and it changes things so much that at first it's like, wow, oh my gosh, but then it's part of how you live. And when you stop and look back, you realize, oh my gosh, things really, really changed, but that's normal now, right? That's just normal now. So, okay, so I think I thought there was a message here from Marnie. Marnie. Where are you, Marnie? There you are. Okay. And the program coming in November is the intuition certification. So first you go through the school, which is live in August this year. And like I said, if you join in the next couple of days, one of the bonuses, 1222, everybody, two people, you come in and let's see if I can, there we go. And you can start right now, like today or tomorrow. You'll get the bonuses of the workshop to meet your spirit guide council, which I really recommend. And you can repeat that often, not often, but every so often as well, because my spirit guide council changes. I've had a certain one for years, and then some of the beings left and some ones come. When I taught the light body school, there was a specific one for the light body school. You might have different spirit guide councils for your work, or for a project or a book that you're writing, or for your family, or for in general, like that. So you get that. And then you'll get the first intuition class, which will have activations that you can start to do now in classes, where we talk about these things and we teach and get those concepts going, because we have about a week and a half, I think, or 2 weeks until we start live. And so you come to the intuition class, hopefully live, although I often will, if people are very called. There were a couple of people like Sky who were extremely called to do this, and they had circumstances or finances that they couldn't do it, and so they reached out to me. So that's one of the most important things, is to reach out if you feel that you're called to this, because in order to find the solution, maybe you have to get out of your ideas, out of your own head, and we can together transform that. Right. So in November, and I'll get that out hopefully before the end of the week, it'll be the certification class to become an intuitive healer or a reader like Sky is. And that's exactly what she did. And she started to work right away. Brittany took it. And some of you may have been in classes with Brittany. And I think Susan knows Brittany. And it was interesting because she started getting people coming to her out of the blue, kind of like Sky was saying. They just recognized her field. Before the class was over, before the intuition certification was over, she had people showing up, and she had more clients than I've seen people get in trying to get them within a month. But then other things happened in her life and she kind of took a different path, and now she's sort of coming back to it. So that may happen for you as well. And so the class is in August, and you'll have all of the recordings as well. And that is going to give you this first step into it. And I need you to take the class before I can put you in the certification class, because there's a lot of concepts that I teach and that all my students know. How do you create a sacred space like the Infinity Healing Chamber? How do you activate your light body? How do you clear and cleanse yourself so you become this clear conduit? How do you connect to someone else so that you know that you're connected to them and you're not just picking up information from a lot of places? You need that up level to open all the pathways and all of the awareness that you have. And we're so different now than we were 4 years ago. The time is sped up, energy is sped up. There's so much, the thinner veil, the doors are opening to higher realms. So it's both really good because it's going to be faster and easier to get this information, to awaken your senses. And it's also no different than how much information is out there now. You couldn't possibly read it all, absorb it all. You're going to go insane if you're like, I want everybody's opinion on this. You have to start trusting that inner self. So it's discernment. And that's something that we're definitely going to be talking about this in August, is how do you make sure that you're tuning in, you're keeping your own space. You're aware if you have the negative doubt voices coming in. There's ways to handle that until you get very masterful about it. And you want to stay a clear conduit to exactly what you're doing. You know, you're talking to your dog, you're talking to, Josie, you're accessing the full moon and all the moon goddesses like today, or we did in the moon meditation the other day. There's a full moon meditation here in the Spiritual Weather Report playlist. So you might want to go have that peace meditation today as well. And there's practices that I need you. I just loved hearing her say these things that I teach. Like, you always are connected to what is optimal at this time for the highest good. And there's different aspects of that. How do you say it? How do you activate it? How do you become? I have clients who say, I hear you in my head, saying that, over and over and over. And repetition is one of the most powerful things. So you have that to repeat in it. And if you're in the class, of course, you'll be one of the first people to receive the intuition, have access, because there's a limited space in the intuition certification class to become certified with that as well. And okay, so I wanted to connect with Marnie. Hi, Marnie. You're so welcome. Okay, Marnie. Na, na, na. Now that I see my comment, I recognize StreamYard. That's the platform you're using. Yes, it is. I was scrolling through and happened to click on that. I'm not sure how I did that, but I went back and figured out how. Yes, I'm on StreamYard. That's why I can't see people speaking. I can't see who's on Facebook. Facebook or YouTube, because I'm actually on a different platform so that we can stream to multiple places at the same time. The intuition program sounds amazing, Candy said. It is. And also, I want to, I'll give you my email again. And if you want to talk to me about the retreat or the class, or working with me privately, I take on a very limited number of private clients. And I will be doing the mastermind again at some point. That is going to be going through the middle of September. And then I'm going to England, and I'm going to be there for 5 weeks. So please reach out to me with any of your questions about the classes or anything else. And like we talked about earlier, don't put the belief in front of you that you can't, because if it's meant to be, there is a way. And we can look at that together. It isn't to force you to. I don't do this kind of sales where, let's sell your house so you can pay me and all that crap. It's really accessing the infinite realm to see what is optimal for you. And if that is, then there's a way. And of course, if you go to the shop, I wish I had a banner for the intuition page, because there's a beautiful page. And if you go to the shop, you'll see the Intuition Awakening. That's just a simple page to buy it, but there's a link at the top of that page that will take you here. And this is where you can see more about it. And there's 3 payment plans. There's even a 6-month payment plan. So I do my very best to make this as easy as possible for you. Here you can see the dates, and you can see what we're going to do and what we're going to work with, and all of that fun stuff. Okay, so make sure that you go and check that out. Okay, so let's take a moment to tune into Marnie. Yeah, and Marnie, I hope you're going to be in this class, because every time that you've asked or I tune into you, I see this is going to be something that's going to give you the support and an awakening. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing, Marnie, is an arrow pointing up on your forehead from like the middle of the 2 eyebrows, pointing straight up and coming in, and then the bottom part of the arrow coming down over the nose this way, and it kind of fades out. And what it reminded me of is there's Mayan structures, Mayan pyramids, sacred structures, where they always have the archways or the hallways, or even just openings in the building that are built for a specific reason. Like what I'm seeing right now is the Pyramid of the Sun at Uxmal. And it's a representation. So it looks to us like an arrow, okay? But it's actually the serpent. It's the serpent's head. If you were looking at it from like the serpent was looking up, it's that triangular shape of that transformation. And the Pyramid of the Sun has it. They've blocked up a few of them, and it's not possible to be able to really feel the full depth, but they built those so that the sun would come through in certain times at a certain way. And the opening. So it's an opening. It's not like a flat arrow that's a color. Okay. So like I teach you, you want to start describing it. So I'm describing what it makes me think of, and that's going to help Marnie have her own little pings, right? Oh, that means this to me. Oh, that doesn't mean that to me. What is that? And so what I'm seeing is that shape coming from right here at the widow's peak, at the hairline, coming like this. And of course, this is the third eye crown area. However, I see it as empty. I see it like one of these pyramids where you would see right through from one side to the other, because it has that shape, but it's opening. So the building is there, but there's this opening. So it's a doorway, and it's empty, and it's an opening, and it's pointing up. And it is that sacred serpent, which takes us, we're descended gods, right? We came down into form, and then we've moved back up through the waves of consciousness. And it is that ascension, right? Going up, to come out of your body, to come out of your mundane world, to free yourself from attachments, okay, to the things, right? The things that cause you stress, or the things that you project on. And look up. And then let this be empty. Let this be an empty space. Let this be an opportunity for you to see nothing, looking up, to see through, okay? Because I don't even see like your brain or light or anything else in there. I'm just seeing that just the way that is an empty potential. It's a doorway, but instead of going through, it is almost asking you to come into this space and get out of the mind, the thinking mind, come into this space, be nothing, and then look up, think up, vibrate up. So now what I'm seeing from that is right here at the hairline, it almost feels, I'm feeling this little ping, 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 or like with the sound of little bubbles, like boop, 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 right there at that point. and they're slowly coming up, slowly coming up, slowly coming up. So what it's showing here is that your pathway is to move forward with nothing. Leave behind any of your thoughts, empty your mind, be in that empty space and look up. There's practices of looking up, like through your third eye from within. And, but you're not looking for something. You're going to be nothing. And then you're going to move up. And then it's like tiny little bubbles, like almost like now there's going to be air that can get through, crack. And it's going to tiny little boop, 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 and moving up. But don't try to go anywhere. Don't try to do anything. Don't try to force anything. And most importantly, don't come down into the heaviness of the body of the 3D. Don't come down and try to figure it out here. If the emotions or the mind start to spin and you're getting into that, put everything down, create space around you, step into this emptiness and be there. Because I don't even see you. It's like, oh, do you sit in the emptiness or do you flow through the emptiness? And, you know, this is all the stuff that I teach you is like, is there movement? Does it have a sense of a particular element? And what is it showing you? And then that unraveling starts to happen. But they just keep showing this emptiness, and now the sun is coming through. So just the way that I was saying that the Mayan pyramids are built that way, that is a portal for the sun. And the sun is guidance, it is nourishment, it's gold, it's self. So the self, your true self, your sun self, your higher self, it needs you to be empty this mind, and your energy is up, up. Okay, very nice. All right, sweetie. Excellent. I'm so glad, MK. Yes, the 6 month is, there's a pay in full. There's it's on sale as well. So it's on sale from $555 to $333, and then that is divided up into payments as well. And if there's something else you need, I had 2 people take the course that were incredibly impacted by it, that contacted me and needed a payment for $50 a month or something like that. So that's the reason that I do that, is to make it possible. Okay. And so if you sign up today, because it is Sunday and I'm going on now to record some Gnostic TV shows about sacred magic. And if you do decide to come to Avalon, let me know, because I want to share with you something else I'm doing there. It's not part of the retreat. It's a few days before the retreat, or the day before the retreat, 2 days. And you might want to come to that as well. So the best thing to do is to go for the shop, and then it'll take you over if you want to get more of the pretty details on that. But if you sign up today, there are links in the shop when you sign up for you to immediately be able to download your Spirit Guide Council workshop and some of the other forms that I give you. The chakra, the 18 chakra chart, the scale, the chart of the rays of creation, and some of the other tools that I like for you to have, because you then need things to check. Well, I received this information. Honestly, the first intuition that I used to receive was nothing. And then it was pink. I just saw pink. That was it. I just saw pink. And I'd be like, well, I saw pink. I mean, it was an improvement. But then everybody else in the class that I was in was seeing like Mother Mary or something. And I was like, oh, I'm such a loser. So, yeah, when you do get a color, though, it is a frequency, it's a vibration, it's a harmonic, it's a color of a chakra, it's a color of ascended ray. There's earth energies that have colors. There's a lot of different possibilities of what that color might mean for you. So I'm going to give you some tools to help you interpret what your messages are. Okay. Oh, well, this was just so fun, you guys. The show isn't started yet on Gnostic TV, and I'll be sending you out a link. So please sign up through my link. But they're going to make my show free for 3 months. Otherwise, it's more like a subscription service. And I've recorded my first show, and that's what I'm going to be doing today and tomorrow, is recording a few more shows. And right now they're going to be coming out once a week. It's called Sacred Magic. And the first one was Awaken Your Sacred Magic. And I don't remember what I'm doing today. And then I will be sure. So if you're on the list at nanakasha.com, I absolutely will make sure that you get information about it. I am also in something called the Sacred Earth Summit. I did a class for that, and that's coming out soon. They just gave me some information to share that. So just watch the emails, and we'll make sure that you get that as well. Okay. All right, my guy, everybody. I hope I see you soon. Absolutely. I so appreciate you. I so appreciate being here with you. I so appreciate Sky. Thank you so much. And Genevieve and Amy and yesterday, Stacy Jam came on and shared about her experiences being in the class. And so I like to do that, because me yammering on and on about how great it is only so good. It's important for you to see how somebody. I also want to share about Sky. Something very powerful is you can see how she's very soft-spoken. She's very, very sweet energy. And a lot of us have that part of us, right? That very soft, feminine part that sort of speaks low and stays in the background. And that was one of the things, is that when I asked her to come on the show, I really thought, well, is that something she's going to feel okay about? Even though I know that over the last couple of years, she has been doing these readings. So she used to come to the class and sit in the dark. And we would only see this little shadow of her. And she would share. She would always speak up, and she would always share. Of course, she did the readings. However, to see her here in the full light, just talking about how confident she is and how people are walking up to her, it's just magic. And again, like I said, even if you don't want to be a reader or a psychic or something, that happens in your life, right? That ability to be attractive to the right people, which we really want. Yay! All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful and wonderful full moon. And please share this with anybody you can think of. Share the class. Let's grow our community, and let's create a reality of love and peace and happiness and dragonflies and butterflies and fireflies. I want some fireflies. We got to get rid of those pesticides so we can get the fireflies to come back. Magic fairies. All right, everybody. Namaste. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.